Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Alrighty, this is the holiday edition of Hungover Hangovers. So this is about one of the worst hangovers I had, and probably about the worst possible time to get one, and I had to end up adding insult to injury by making it even worse. So what happened with this one, I was going down to the Parade of Lights with some friends, and I was also going to be meeting up with someone down there that I had met earlier that same summer that I was starting to make a good connection with and stuff like that. And, she wanted me to come down there, and so that way we could kind of talk and watch the Parade of Lights together and get to know each other, hanging out and stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay, so it's a good idea. And what I had done is I had forgotten about the meetup, and because I had drank the night before and my brain wasn't working, I had a terrible hangover. And it was one of my other friends that had let me know. I said, hey, you're gonna meet up with us at the house for driving down to Denver for the Parade of Lights. And I was like, oh right, I've almost forgot about that, And so what I did is earlier in that morning, I got myself a Starbucks coffee, and I figured, okay, get rid of a hangover. All right, let's just put a little bit of Jameson's Irish whiskey in the Starbucks coffee. It tasted really good, but it was the worst thing I could do because it made me so freaking sick. Because remember, I already had a hangover, and I'm adding alcohol on top of the hangover. Okay, and it wasn't much. Okay, it was just like a little bit, but still, it was enough to just make me feel really sick, and it just hit my stomach really hard. And my friends and I, we still met up, when my friends came to get me. They were like, you don't look too good. Are you sure you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, I do, because, remember that girl I told you about, well, she's going, and she wanted to meet up down there, and it's like, I goofed up earlier in the month, and got, a hangover and stuff. I had to, and I hadn't remembered, that I was going to be meeting up with her for, like, a friend's movie night, and she sat down there waiting for me at my friend's apartment for like 2 hours, and she got back home, and because we didn't have back then, she didn't have like smartphone, and I had a smartphone, but we didn't exchange phone numbers with each other right away. We were just communicating through Facebook, and she didn't have Messenger on her phone. So after that had happened, then it was like, hey, why don't we exchange phone numbers so that way we keep in contact with one another more easily. So this time we actually did do that, so we could communicate when we got down to the Parade of Lights. So I explained that to my friends and stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, that's right, yeah, you met that girl at the 4th of July thing. And I was like, yeah, and she's going, and I want to go too, and they're like, okay, well, as long as you're feeling up to it, we'll drive you down there and stuff. So then we head down there and stuff, and I'm just resting on the back seat, and I can hear my friend talking to his girlfriend and stuff, and they're like just talking about like how I'm feeling and stuff, and they're like, maybe we should stop at like a Subway or a sandwich, and maybe he'll feel better. So they do that, get a sandwich, and I'm still just feeling like absolute crap. Eat the sandwich. On the way down, I just lay down in the back seat again, and then when we get into Denver, I kind of like this. It's just very vague. I can remember like what was going on. I know he pulled into an alleyway somewhere like that in the park, and at this time, my stomach is at the point where it's like it needs to evacuate. Okay, so I pop open the door at the second that he parks, and I just stick my head out, and just everything, all that Subway sandwich just comes out like all over the ground. And when I remember one of my friends, he was saying to me, he's like, you feel better now? I was like, yeah. It's like, we end up going down and then like finding a spot, like I think it was out in front of like the Cheesecake Factory, or somewhere where they had like a fire pit going on and stuff, we took some pictures and whatnot, waited for my other friend to show up and stuff, and hung out together and stuff. And then after the Parade of Lights, we kind of like wandered around, explored the Brown Palace, and took some more pictures, and had a great time. And I was feeling better, but not to the point where I was like the point where I felt like that I was gonna pass out again because of how crappy I felt. So afterwards, we parted ways, and my other friends, they took me back over to their place, and I just fell asleep on the couch, and then woke up the next morning feeling better, But there you go. So, note to self and everyone else: never, ever add more alcohol to an already existing hangover. We call that biting the hair of the dog, and it is a big freaking mistake. And I've never done that again. So I don't really drink at all anymore. On occasion, I'll have a drink, you know, like, but it's so rare nowadays. Like about a month or two ago, actually last month, I had like half of a 50 milliliter shooter of Di Serrano, and just that half of 50 milliliters, that's 25 milliliters. That was enough. I was like, okay, I can't do any more of this because it's gonna make me sick, you know. So I've turned into like a complete lightweight. But the benefit of it is I have lost weight. Considerably lost a lot of weight. I have lost 20 pounds since I stopped drinking. All right, so yeah, there you go. Anyways, so shorter video than, you know, others I've done in the past, but yeah, have a good one. Stay safe out there. If this video gets up before New Year's, have a great New Year's, and I will see you in the coming year.